We all assume that Meghan married Harry in an intolerable cruelty-style fashion, put some time in, divorce, get a hefty settlement, be set for life. However, it feels like this shows how little she understood the BRF finances, and Harry's place within them. Harry does have his own money in an inheritance from Diana. The income from it, assuming he hasn't touched the capital, is estimated to be about $450,000 a year, Esquire. While that might not be able to afford you a super glamorous life in London, NYC, LA, or other major metro areas, I think most of us could settle somewhere only a little bit off the beaten path and have quite a comfortable life. Most of his other perks, those were paid for by Charles, through the Privy Purse/Sovereign Grant and the Duchy of Cornwall funds provided to the Princess of Wales for personal expenditures. When Charles was Prince of Wales, he basically provided for his family, but also for many of his charitable endeavours, so it's not like all the money that came to him, estimated between £20 million, £25 million over recent years, was automatically distributed between him and the boys. He's also responsible for maintenance on his non-palace homes, Highgrove, Birkhall, and Linnewood, which I'm sure wasn't cheap. I'm sure if Meghan and Harry had kept their expenditures reasonable, he could have managed to pay for them, and I'm sure upon Charles' ascension, he would have paid for them through Duchy of Lancaster funds. Had they stayed working royals, their lives of privilege, and the charitable works they claim to want to perform, would have been assured. Maybe it's not a Saudi oil magnate or Russian oligarch lifestyle, but certainly affluent enough to curate a well-managed closet of bespoke clothes, the ability to buy their own important piece of jewelry or four, and enjoy top-tier travel with 24/7 security. However, they've fucked that up, all in the name of having a brand and attempting to merge the UK's crown. You can talk about the reported value of their contracts all you like, most likely, those were inflated to make them look like hot properties, and there's no way in hell Netflix, Spotify, and PRH gave them the full amount. Those were multi-year contracts predicated on multiple pieces of intellectual property which have not been delivered. So maybe they've received a quarter of the reported money, at best. The way they spend, on the house, on clothes, on private travel, on private security, they are most likely blowing through that nest egg pretty quickly. Something I think Meghan is most likely quite aware of. Now, she has to be thinking, I have children in line for the UK crown, that must be worth something, the Charles, right? But let's look at some modern royal divorces. Diana divorces from Charles. Diana reportedly received a $22.5 million lump sum in 1996, worth about $43 million today, plus $600,000 annually for her private office, worth about $1 million today, after 15 years of marriage. She lost her HRH, but kept the Princess of Wales title, and her personal jewellery and clothes, as well as offices and a residence at Kensington Palace, and the Queen noted she'd still be invited to certain state and national occasions. So clearly, Diana came out with a pretty sizable settlement, but I think that was about Diana being Diana, and the fact that she was still the Princess of Wales and mother to Charles' sons. If she hadn't died, I think she'd still have a place in BRF ceremonies. The fact she still had a professional office funded by the Queen shows that. I sometimes think that's what Harry think he'd have, a huge pile of money, royal status, but the ability to fuck off and do whatever he wanted. But the reality is Diana was a special case, and he never actually operated at her level. He has her glow as her son, but he lacks her magnetism and importance in hierarchy. Note that Fergie and Mark Phillips, both spouses to then active senior working royals, didn't receive massive payouts, and there's no saying how much of their payouts came from the personal accounts of Andrew and Anne, to boot. And as far as grandchildren of QE2 go, I doubt Autumn Phillips received all that much. I'm sure her settlement was based on Peter Phillips' income and investments. favoritism and importance in hierarchy. Note that Fergie and Mark Phillips, both spouses to then active senior working royals, didn't receive massive payouts, and there's no saying how much of their payouts came from the personal accounts of Andrew and Anne, to boot. And as far as grandchildren of QE2 go, I doubt Autumn Phillips received all that much. I'm sure her settlement was based on Peter Phillips' income and investments.